Let me send you guys the templates first on your Telegram. And also the examples that we're going to discuss. Okay. If you guys check your Telegram, I have sent you guys the essay template and also some of the examples we are going to discuss today. So just pay attention to the slides and what I'm going to be discussing. You don't need to actually write down the structure or anything. It will save you time. Okay. So essay writing. Where do you get essay writing? This is a part of your speaking and writing section. Okay. If you see your very last topic over here, all right, of your speaking and writing section, and where does it gives you marks? Of course, essay writing. That should be clear, only towards writing, not towards any other communication skill. Okay. Now you will get one, or at times you can have two essays as well in the exam, but most of the cases you will get one. All right. So for essay writing, what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to write 200 to 300 words. This is your word limit. Okay. And the time you will have is 20 minutes. Now this 20 minutes is for one question. Same as I explained earlier, 20 minutes for one question. So if you have, let's just say, two questions, 20 minutes for first one, and whatever you have written in 20 minutes time, it will get submitted, and then 20 minutes for the next one. It won't be like 40 minutes overall for both of them. It won't be like that. 20 minutes individual. All right. And also another thing here is statement of essays in your PTE are always designed in a way that they ask about your opinion or point of view regarding different topics. Okay. As in, if you have a look at example over here, what does it say? Some people argue that experience is the best teacher. Life experiences can teach more effectively than books or formal school education. And then if you see at the end, what does it say? How far do you agree with this idea? Okay, so most of your statements will be designed in this way. All right. And if you have a look at the structure, if you read its introduction, there are actually some words over there that do address this sort of situation always. That is the reason we have made it in that way. Okay. Now we will talk a little bit about the marking criteria, and then I will show you how to use essay structure for the different types of essays. Okay. But before that, any questions you have in here? Is it clear? All right, let's move on. So these are your marking criteria for essay writing. Okay. Now form will always depend on the number of words. Okay. So as long as you are in 200 to 300, you will get the 2 marks for form. Okay. Now, in case anyone wants to know what is the word limit that will make me lose 1 mark, it's this one. And anything less or more than that will give you 0. Yes. Form 0, and the thing is, if form is 0, everything else is 0. Yes, 200 to 300 words will get the 2 marks. If let's just say content is completely wrong, then content will be 0, and then everything is 0. Okay. But if the content is somewhat okay, even if not really good, you'll get at least 1 mark here, and then yes, 2 marks for form. That's it. Okay. All right. So grammar, vocabulary, and spellings, that will be discussed when we have a look at the structure. But these two I want to talk about a little bit. Okay. Have a look at the name of this criteria: development, structure, and coherence. And also keep in mind we are writing an essay. What do you think this criteria is dependent on? Sorry? Formation. Okay. Can you elaborate on it a bit? Like what comes under formation? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let me ask you this. Let's just say I'm writing my essay. Okay. And there is some sort of an idea I have in my mind for the topic that I have. Okay. So what I do is I give the example of idea first. All right. I give the example first, and then I define the idea later. I introduce it even further after that, and then I conclude it. Would it be okay? Yes. Okay. So how it should work? It should be introduction, definition, a bit of explanation, example, and then conclusion. Okay. So in other words, what I'm trying to say, you need to put information in a bit of a structural way in your essay. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. Now, if you guys have a look at the structure that I just sent on your Telegram, and I will show you in a minute over here as well, this is the sort of flow you will notice throughout. Like in the body of the essay, what am I doing? I'm introducing my idea first. Okay. I'm explaining it, I'm giving an example, and then I'm concluding my idea. That is the, you can say this criteria is the main reason for that, because I'm being marked for it. Okay. So you can write actually this thing down if you want to. All right. You don't have to worry about this. This is already being taken care of in your structure. But in case if you are having a hard time memorizing the structure, so remember this is the flow that is being followed over there. So that can help you to actually keep those sentences in mind. That's it. Okay. Now, going back to the criteria and discussing this one. General linguistic range. Any idea what does this depend on? General linguistic range. What do you think it can mean? Think about it. Linguistic. Any idea? Okay. All right. Do you think I have to use like some fancy words to get a good mark here? Or do you think it will work without that? Okay, you are on the right track. So it actually depends on two things. Okay. The first thing being is that you have a variety in your sentence structure. Now, what do I mean by that? If you remember the summarized spoken text structure, what was it over there? It is stated that, moreover, it is mentioned that, furthermore, it is highlighted that. Very simple. Okay. If you use the same thing in here, you will get a very low mark. Yes. Okay. That is why in your structure, if you notice, there are quite fancy words, some fancy structures here and there. This, you can say, criteria is the reason for it. It will give you a good mark. Okay. And then another thing is, we will, you can say, refer to our topic and some things more than once in our essay. Okay. There will be one topic in our essay that we'll be talking about throughout 200 to 300 words. Okay. And of course I will mention that more than once in my essay. If you can use a different word each time, it's better for your score. If you can come up with a different word, all right, as in like a synonym. But if you can't, that's okay. Just try to like change it somehow a little bit here and there. All right, and I'll show you with an example later how to do that. Okay. Now, any questions in here before we get into details? All good? Is it making sense? Okay, so in case like the reason I explained this is a lot of times students come and say that structure is a bit difficult, it has some difficult words here and there, can you make it like very simple? The thing is, if you make it way too simple, these are the criterias where you will lose marks. Those are the reasons for them being there. Yes, that's better. Yes, for full marks, and like just fill it with the relevant information. All right, because if you memorize it and all, that is of course giving you marks, but only a fraction of it. You have to fill it with the relevant ideas. That's it. Okay, and that I will show you with examples how to do that. All right, now let's move on to discussing actually different types of essays. Okay, now write this down. You can say all the essays that you will get in your exam, they can be categorized into these three types: one topic, topic subtopic, and problem solution essay. Okay, write this down and then we'll move on. Okay, so now let's have a look at the structure and then we will discuss it for different types of essays. Okay, so the structure that I just sent you on your Telegram, if you have a look on that one, you will see it has actually 4 paragraphs. Okay, and this is sort of a rough, you can say, word limit that you can keep in mind for these individual paragraphs. Not for individual paragraph, but for the whole thing. For the whole thing. Yeah. All right. So you can say 90 words for these paragraphs, like introduction, body one, body two, and then like around 30 words for your conclusion. You don't need to write more than that for your conclusion. Okay. Now let's discuss a one topic essay. Firstly, write this example down. That
Sir,
is
can I take a
take a
picture?
picture.
The
The
previous
previous
slide.
slide. Yeah, yeah, sure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It's okay. All right. So this is like an example of one topic essay. Write it down. It says medical technology can increase life expectancy. Is it a blessing or a curse? Okay. Firstly, write this down. Then I will discuss the other things in detail. Expectancy, or is it about medical technology? Yes. What does it referring to? What does it is referring to in here? That's what I'm asking. Increase in life expectancy. Okay. Look, what it is basically telling you is that medical technology is making people live longer. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? So it is not asking you that is medical technology a good thing or a bad thing. It is asking you that medical technology making people live longer, is that a good thing or a bad thing? That's the thing in here. Okay, so we will mention medical technology once in our essay. Okay, but mostly we will talk about that if people are living a longer life, how is it a good thing or a bad thing for the society? That's the thing. Okay, this is a very common essay. It can be in any of your exams as well, trust me, it gets repeated a lot. Okay, so do remember that. Yes, so what I'm saying is basically the question is saying, is it a blessing or a curse? Okay, so what I was saying was it is, of course, a pronoun. Okay, and whatever it is referring to is your topic in here.